So it looks like she's not getting the breast implants after all that. She's decided doesn't want to send the wrong impression to all of her fans out there. I personally don't think either of her fans would have been upset about. What is going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot for Watchalong Wrestling. Hopefully everyone is doing well and staying safe. Welcome to another edition of Total Stivas. It wouldn't be Total Stivas without my main man Steve down in Orlando, Florida. Hopefully the soon-to-be-announced place. Double-crossed fingers for the Royal Rumble 2024. Steve, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. Trying to stay cool, trying to stay sane as we are in the midst of our first full week of school.
Do you guys have central air conditioning in the school?
Yes, but it works better and worse in some certain places. And my classroom in particular is one of those places that does not work particularly well. So I have my own personal oscillating fan that I have by my desk that I'm pretty much glued to during class.
I feel like I would be very. It's probably still it's like 100 degrees where you guys are.
Yeah. I mean, it's hovering. It's been hovering around 95, 98 the past couple of days. It's supposed to kind of slowly cool down, into like the mid 80s instead towards the end of the week.
A brisk 85 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, glad you're getting back into the swing of things. And, as we continue our journey looking at Total Divas and watching each and every episode here in its entirety for the 10-year anniversary of season 1, what would you say thus far that you've been enjoying the most about the show?
Is it a cop-out to say the wrestling parts?
I mean, honestly, that's what that's one of the things I enjoy most about it. And I feel like when they put the show together, they knew they'd get a male audience in there if they made it like, hey, this is your chance to see all these wrestlers outside of their comfort zone and doing all these things. So I'm sure
I do like the backstage segments and the parts where like they're things that you normally wouldn't see, even on the backstage parts of like a wrestling show or something like that. So yeah, I do like that part.
Absolutely, and we like the part that everybody has been continuing to enjoy these each week. Our audience has been growing with each episode of Total Stivas here on Watchalong Wrestling. So I want to give a big shout out to everybody who has tuned in and who has enjoyed the show. So let's get into this here. We're getting into the Fat Twin Season 1, Episode 4. And it says it says Nikki's insecure. Ariane considers getting breast implants. Natalya wants more romance. Ooh, what a.
So I thought we had established last week that the Fat Twin was Jimmy.
Right. Well,
we're not going with that anymore.
With that rather awkward segue of me trying to talk about how, and we recorded that before SummerSlam, and I did say in the middle of that show, Jey Uso coming up just a bit short. Little did we know that.
And now he's not even with the company anymore.
He's not even with the company. Deuces, which I'm sure we'll have to end every episode of Total Stivas with. But, all right, let's get into it here. We'll at least get started. And we're going to go ahead. Steve, I'm going to go get it started. And then you can, as tradition typically dictates, you can count us down and then go from there.
All right, so we're on quintuple zeros, as we always are, and we got it ready in 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, here we go. And the first thing you see here is looks like
your favorite B-roll footage.
The great
Kansas City.
Kansas City. Ooh, Kansas City, Missouri. I've never been to Kansas City, but the company I work for has let me know that I will be heading either to Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Green Bay, Wisconsin, or Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So stay tuned. I mean, we'll be maybe in Kansas City here in the next couple of weeks. We'll have to see.
Well, at least if you're going to Missouri, you'll have some great barbecue to look forward to.
That's what everybody keeps telling me. Yeah. I'm hopeful about that. Like now they're. It looks like the women are doing some lingerie shopping to get us started with. Natty feels like since she's now on the road, TJ has been injured Now he got injured about 2013. When he returns, he actually goes down in NXT and main events a couple of the early NXT Takeover pay-per-view events, which actually was one of probably my favorite moments of his WWE run and the early days of NXT.
I also think that this is one of the first non-wrestling related segments that we have Natty in anyway.
Yeah, very weird. Yeah, the first few episodes, she has not been a part of it. This is Nikki Bella trying on some lingerie.
Yeah, this is definitely harkening back to the Attitude Ruthless Aggression era.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Now, Natty's in some lingerie, and it's funny because I don't think that, like, now Natty, everyone will look at Natty's Instagram, it's all about these types of, risque photos, different things like this. At the time, it was very surprising to see Natty doing this because she was almost kind of the wrestler's wrestler. And here she is. I mean, obviously it looks great. Nikki Bella does as well, I will say. By God, King. If I do say so myself, I do pull out Jim Ross, my Bell's palsy brother, as we get to the entrance. Thank God they had gone too long. That part would have been. Imagine that was a full hour of the two of them doing lingerie shopping, the two of us doing some alternate commentary. Only so far we could take that with that one.
Yes, indeed.
They do have a official intro video. This has not been this way. This is the first time I think we're seeing each one of them kind of profiled in their intro video.
Which is good because I kind of forgot a couple of them.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. They're setting up some stuff for the Raw that night. Always interesting to go back and see what was on that show, what the main events were for that show.
Mm-hmm.
And by all of them not really being featured performers, it actually really lended to the show because they got to do so much stuff backstage with them. Like if one of these women was the champion, it would be a lot harder to have them so involved with all this type stuff and them all wearing dresses and stuff backstage. But I think the fact that they were kind of, just returning to the company or in undercard feuds and character storylines, I think they were able to kind of get that piece of it going.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the other half of the reason why I would imagine that why they chose these superstars to begin with is because they're trying to highlight some of maybe the lesser known, the up and coming superstars.
I think absolutely, yeah. I think that really did go through it because even though the Funkadactyls have been on TV, all their role was dancing with Brodus Clay and then eventually dancing with Brodus Clay and Tensai. They didn't say a word. They weren't like featured performers or anything like that. They were just background dancers.
Interesting.
Yeah, and now it looks like Ariane is starting to complain that she is having some issues keeping her dress up.
Yeah.
This actually is something they did a lot during this era of Total Divas. Again, they didn't really have much for them, so they'd have them all go outside and sit at the outside merch stand and sign autographs, which was actually very cool. And they did this when we went over SummerSlam 2013 weekend. It was pretty cool to see them, especially my wife being such a Total Divas fan, them outside, out and about, and being able to see them. Now, these guys, remember, this is well before Total Divas starts. So that guy saying, "You're my favorite," full of beans. There's no way that's his favorite. I mean,
I'm pretty sure because it was the dress that she was wearing.
Oh, maybe. Maybe you're right. Yep, and actually, even Nikki's like, "Yep, that's why I'm the favorite."
Right.
And so actually, I remember when awkward as it is to talk about when Nikki when Nikki had breast augmentation surgery, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I remember it being a very big deal and folks saying, "Oh, well, now you can very clearly tell the twins apart." Because when they started,
I actually didn't notice that until maybe the second or third episode, but it is a very good point, and it has helped me ever since I noticed that.
That's very, very true. But yeah, I remember. But yeah, that's a cool way to. I always feel like they should do that with folks that they have come into catering, not doing anything. Send them outside to greet the fans while they're waiting to go in and sign some autographs. Just a really small thing that I think really helps out. I think it's a good thing to do.
Oh yeah, I mean it's an easy PR move. It's an easy win for everybody.
Absolutely. So they're talking about SummerSlam and saying it's a mini WrestleMania. I think we're getting to a point where that's not going to be the case too much longer, and I think SummerSlam will be presented as the same as WrestleMania. I think this year was fine. I think they'll end up doing a 2-day for SummerSlam, and maybe even the Rumble moving forward. I just feel like these shows are getting so big, and SummerSlam, even with the matches cut down, was still over 4 hours long. Though I could see
a 2-hour or a 2-day SummerSlam. That would be interesting. I don't know about moving Rumble to that as well, where maybe you have like, one Rumble one night and then the other Rumble the other night.
That's what I like. Yeah, I think that would work. I mean, you think about it, you have 2 world titles, you have 2 world titles for the men, 2 world titles for the women, 2 Royal Rumbles. Only really need 5 matches on each show. I think you could easily do it. But I'm not advocating for any more 2-day pay-per-views, so, send your hate tweets over to @WatchalongTommy.
So I'm sure as a wrestling fan during this era, you know who TJ is. Being that I don't know who TJ is there something that I would know him better as?
Part of the Hart Dynasty. He was in a team with D.H. Smith when you were still watching.
Okay.
And then up with Bret Hart when Bret returned to WWE. That's kind of how Natty got started, was with them. And David Hart Smith, the son of the British Bulldog, ended up getting terminated. But the TJ stayed and was really known as like a very technically sound wrestler. Loves wrestling. You can even see him here. Here he is sitting at home. And what's he doing? He's nonstop wrestling on throughout, all of his free time. And he's known very much as being, the kid who grew up near the Harts. So when all the Hart kids would go and practice wrestling and doing all these things, he was always in there with them as Natty's trying to get his attention away from the wrestling. And he said, "Why are you wearing that?" Which, I mean, this is where it becomes awkward to me that here he is. All he wants to watch is his Daniel Bryan match. It becomes awkward that there's cameramen in the room.
Like what do you expect from the guy when there's cameras there? Like, right. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and do you really, it's just an awkward. I will say for all the gentlemen watching at home though, if your wife ever does come out like that while you're watching some old school WWE, turn that TV off right away, because if you at all look distracted or anything, it will not get over well.
Unless there is, in fact, somebody else in there filming, in which case, maybe talk it over first. But
I agree. I think he's like, "Why are you wearing that?" Because he's probably like, "There's a bunch of dudes hanging around filming."
Right? Yeah.
Like, shirt on. What are you doing?
Right.
So they're talking about how they have, they show off their breasts on social media, Instagram.
The puppies.
The movies. The puppies.
The puppies.
And so they put it onto Instagram because that helps them get double the amount of likes and helps them with their brand.
But here's where we get introduced to the Fat Twin.
Well, yeah. So somebody wrote. Did somebody write? I couldn't read it because I have horrible vision. What did the guy?
Yeah. So somebody had commented something about her being the Fat Twin.
Oh my gosh. Very, very.
Nikki is so the Fat Twin.
That's what he said. Aye. Yeah. Well, this is perfect. All right, so we are. Come back from that commercial here, and they're at Cafe. Did that say Cafe? It looked like it said Cafe Bella. And
I think it did.
Yeah, very weird. Right?
And now the entire rest of the show is going to be just at this one restaurant, right? Like, it has to be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll be there. Oh no, not for the whole series, but that's like this episode though. So now again, we're continuing this narrative that Nikki Bella is eating like me on a guy's weekend, just whatever is in front of her face, no issues whatsoever. And Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella look disgusted with her. Very, very. And Brie is actually even mentioning that with Nikki getting her own set of twins.
Mm-hmm.
They're no longer as identical, which we just touched on. Bryan looks very uncomfortable and looks like he'd rather be anywhere else except at the table with the Bella twins eating dinner while somebody's filming him.
Right, and also with this conversation going, that's about to happen. Like,
yeah, and he's telling her there's no way she could eat healthy. I will say eating healthy is very difficult. This is something for me when I'm not a person who's very interested in eating healthy. So, you know, if you're not interested in eating healthy, if you're used to a certain set of food groups, it's not easy to just turn around and eat healthy. Like, you don't know what to eat or eat like things that are tasty. Now I can eat salads, but there was a time period where I just was like not interested in any of that stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could also talk at length about my own, relationship with food and going back and forth between doing like, just I want to eat as absolutely healthy as possible, and then going, what, forget that, I'm going to eat whatever I want, and then so we've kind of done a little bit of both, and now we're kind of at a good place, but
yeah, I feel like I'm decent now. I know, but taking it from a wrestling perspective, there's always the Dave Bautista thought in his book. He said he's the type of person he keeps pretty healthy, but when he starts eating unhealthy, he actually intentionally eats as unhealthy as possible. As we see Jimmy doing a little shimmy there, you kind of see in Jimmy's personality come out a little bit.
Yeah. The other fat twin.
The other, exactly. The other fat twin. But he said whenever he ate unhealthy, he'd intentionally eat as unhealthy as possible. So he'd eventually, have to use the restroom and then remember why he doesn't eat poorly.
I mean, yeah, like honestly, like nowadays, like sometimes if I do eat like really badly, I can absolutely feel it, if not immediately, a couple of hours afterwards, and I'm like, oh right, that's why we don't do this anymore.
The buy one get one free Blaze Pizza is undefeated, man. I'll tell you. Every Tuesday we go to that Blaze Pizza, and every Tuesday night it's pretty tough times. So it looks like they're now going to go and see if Cameron is a candidate for breast implants, and if that's something she wants to do. Meeting with the Breast Augmentation Council, a consultant. Oh, so and I mean, this is actually probably very legitimate too. If there's something going on where someone's taking, doing something to themselves, they're in a tag team, they have to be very much, it would affect Naomi if Cameron can't take any bumps or can't wrestle, and probably needs to call WWE for their advice as well.
Yeah, and I mean, that is absolutely something that you got to consider, right? And also, I'm sure it's also probably something that would this also need to be approved through WWE kind of thing, like.
Right. Well, I know Stacy Keibler has told a story. Well, Mick Foley has told a story about how Stacy Keibler once went over to him to ask his advice if she should get breast implants. And now Jimmy's coming in to see the breast. Look how uncomfortable he looks. My gosh.
I'm not gonna lie, I would probably do the same exact thing he just did, where I'm just like, I am incredibly uncomfortable in all of this. Like,
yeah, I would. I'll never forget when one of Erica's friends got breast implants, and for some reason this seems to come with the territory of having breast implants, where like you get them and you suddenly want to show them off to everyone with a pair of eyes and want everyone to touch them, and I'm just like, no. I remember being like, if you want me to step out, I can do that. Like, I'm good. I'll hang out. No worries. And I looked about as happy as Jimmy looks right now. Because it's like,
now imagine if somebody had a camera in your face while you were doing that.
Right. And they were like, follow Jimmy back out to that waiting room. Keep getting the camera on him to see how uncomfortable he looks.
Right.
Wow. Well, I didn't know all the intricacies and ins and outs of all this.
Yeah, back in the day there was there was one of those like MTV documentaries about plastic surgery. It wasn't just this, but there was also like a ton of other ones.
Wow.
And I remember watching that one too, and how much in depth it is.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a no-win situation for Jimmy there. He can't act excited that he's seeing the girl's breasts. He can't do anything. He's right there. Beyonce there. Shouldn't do it without her there either. But at the same time, uncomfortable city to say the least.
Yeah.
Conspicuous by his absence entirely so far this season is Jey Uso. I wonder if he gets more involved. I don't remember the ins and outs of this show. Believe it or not, I've not rewatched Total Divas many times. So
you don't say. I would say probably not, just because of the fact that, like, unless Jey has some sort of relationship with one of the Divas at some point.
He does have a little bit of a role at some point. I don't know if it's this season or a few seasons down the road when Jimmy and Trinity get married.
Okay.
With that, but nothing really too. And now, so this has to be a little overdone. Everywhere they go, she suddenly wants to go get something unhealthy to eat. I mean, I do that, but I can't imagine that's like.
And meanwhile, the other one is completely, like exposed midsection, showing up her abs and all that stuff, and like.
Exactly. And Nikki does not look remotely out of shape. So this entire thing is just so silly, in my opinion.
Yes. Nor does Jimmy, for the record, either.
No, he does not. No, that was me. Well, I feel like there's a certain amount. You think about all the Samoans, and almost all of them, with the exception of the Usos and Roman, are pretty. They've been known to be a little out of shape.
I wouldn't say necessarily out of shape, but they're
football player.
Yeah.
Offensive lineman. I guess The Rock too. I forgot about him. He's yeah, he's obviously in phenomenal shape. But so she's saying if you drink this shake, you're not going to eat as much because your hunger will go away. And now Nikki's terrible because it's in reference to the same individual with that she's had issues with. Right after the comment on Instagram that got her so upset to begin with.
Yeah. Like,
and
that's.
Yeah. And now they're heading over to. I wonder if these places still exist. This place looks awesome, and they're in Florida, so you could actually go to this.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, have I seen this place before? Do I know where this is? I actually think I might know where this is. Actually,
it looks very nice, like right out there on the eating at perfect outdoor seating.
I mean, that's a lot of places out by Tampa and St. Pete. Like, it's it's awesome out there.
True. I think that might be where this is located, actually.
Yeah.
$150
for the wedding.
Oh, for the wedding.
Yeah.
$150 is. I feel like that's standard for most weddings.
Well, I think that's per side.
Oh gosh, per side.
Yeah, so that would be like about 250, 300 person wedding.
Yeah, that's a lot. I had 200, which was enormous as too much. I feel like it's just you don't even get a chance to see everybody when you have 200 people there.
Yeah, and we were practically the exact opposite, where we had less than 100.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I felt like there was a lot of people there.
There were, and the way the venue was situated and everything like that, I think it probably felt a little bit more intimate. So it was like kind of, there was like the dance floor, and then there was like all of the tables were all in one place. Whereas yours was definitely like a little bit more spread out, it felt.
Yeah, I think ours, like the day before, we actually had to move from our 75 seat rehearsal. As we're getting to a dinner here, are we getting to a dinner? Are we getting to a
getting to a commercial break?
Commercial break looks like it. There we go. Yeah, I'd find a way to shoehorn old John in here, and he's coming.
There you go.
Break. It's like
yes, I'm at a minute break.
A minute break. All right, so you're a little ahead of me. I'm still like a little behind, and now I am at a 1 minute break. But yeah, at our wedding, I remember we had a rehearsal dinner that was set up for 75 people, and even that we had to turn around and kind of make sure that we moved to a larger venue at that place just for the rehearsal.
I do remember that, yeah.
Yeah, which is like, ridiculous. God, I mean, it was great. I was very happy, but at the time, far too much, I thought. So we're coming out of a commercial break here in a minute. Have you seen the Cody Rhodes documentary yet?
We keep meaning to check it out. It was just it came out, and then we were like right back to school, so we didn't really have a chance to look at it. But I definitely want to check that out.
Same as me. I already wanted for me to wait till she got out of school. She just finished, so hopefully be able to see it soon. It does look very, very good. They're actually it's on a commercial break I'm on now. I'll let you know when I'm off here. It should be any second. Are you already done?
Yeah. So I'll hold on for like a second.
Go ahead and press play now.
Okay.
And they're showing some seals. I wonder if they must be in California now.
Yeah, maybe that might be close to San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego, San Francisco Bay Area, somewhere around there. And they're chatting about kind of where they're heading right now. And it looks like, the cleanse. Have you ever done a juice cleanse, Steve?
I have not.
Tried once, and boy, was it tough.
I can only imagine.
I got through about 3 days. I did a 3-day juice cleanse, and honestly, the problem was once I was done, I was just really hungry.
Yeah.
I don't think it really helped.
Well, I think that that's the problem with a lot of those kind of either crash diets or juice cleanse or anything like that, where it's like the second that you stop doing that specific routine, you're going to go either back to whatever you were doing before, you're going to gain all the weight back and everything like that. And that's why, most of the time when you're talking about doing some sort of diet, it's more about like doing long-term lifestyle sorts of changes that are going to be able to be sustainable.
Yeah.
Doing just like a juice diet or something like that isn't going to be sustainable.
No. This does look quite nice, the LA Life, as they're over there. It looks like Ariane is chipper, joining them poolside. But I will say with those juice cleanses, working remote, it might be a little better.
That's true.
Maybe get that done. Oh, so she's wearing, it looks like she's testing them out to see if it's something to get used to, which is actually common in the breast augmentation world. They have a little period of time sometimes where they want to see if it's something that they are comfortable with having attached to them, except all the time. Makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Like,
yeah. I don't think Ariane does get them, if I'm being honest. Just because I remember her being a part of MTV's The Challenge Celebrity Edition, and I don't really recall.
Okay.
I'm surprised we haven't gotten another appearance from her boyfriend with his thoughts on whether or not she should get breast implants in this episode.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, I mean, not that, I'm just surprised that we don't see his reaction. Like,
right. Yeah. But I mean, I think one of the reasons here is, these guys are probably still on the road with WWE, but they probably have a ton of free time, which is why you're seeing a lot of them, because they aren't like, oh, the breast falls right out. and they float. Look at that. But yeah, I think they're all kind of not on the show too often. That's why Jimmy's there too. Good. This has to be a difficult thing. They're in one of their apartments here, so, and it looks really small, doesn't it?
I don't
hard
think
to tell.
So. Yeah.
But
I mean, I guess the kitchen doesn't look super big.
No, and not only that, they have they also got another camera person. The camera guy's in that space.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely gonna distort it. But like, I'm just looking at like the way that it's kind of angled like that. Like, that can't be a huge place.
Oh, look at this scan. She's cheated on her juicer by having wine. But also,
and the age-old excuse of, oh no, it's for the antioxidants.
Yeah.
It's for we're cutting down inflammation.
Yeah.
Wow.
A muffin is not good. The wine, I'm weird with the juicer. I feel like when you juice, isn't it okay to have coffee and other drinks?
I don't I've never done it, so I feel like if that's what it's supposed to be, like, you're only supposed to be doing that. Like, I thought that was the point of it.
Yeah.
No, it's just like you can have that in water, maybe.
Yeah. And so they're taking a little, as they're doing the juicing, so now Brie is saying because she ate the muffin and the wine, that pretty much kills whatever progress they've made on the juicer, which I don't know if it's like that, especially if it's just wine.
I can't tell you that I have a high opinion on juice cleanses anyway. So.
Well, I don't think they're really that great. I did it. It was like pure hell for 3 days, and then once I was done, I was like, great, I can't wait to eat again. So it was like,
right.
And I didn't really see any difference.
Oh, here we go.
Ah, there he is. I was looking for him, and there he is on command. He wants to name them. He looks absolutely thrilled by this. What is his name? Martin?
Vincent?
There you go. Yeah, he looks utterly thrilled at the prospect of Ariane getting a new set of jugs here.
Right, yeah. And of course he picked the bigger one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, hey, if you're going to do it, may as
Go
well
big or go home, I guess, right?
Yeah. He's just the most happy in the history of. Now, so of course, if he decides not to do this, I wonder what his thing will be. And he's named the breast Janice. It's nice she went and got his opinion, though, and didn't just decide to come strolling through with a brand new set of cans, ready to. Probably shouldn't call them a brand new set of cans. Ready to get his opinion on this, but no, not politically correct there. I'm doing so well too. So this SummerSlam photo shoot they're about to do is actually really cool. They did for SummerSlam 2013, they did kind of like a theme park vibe for the poster.
Okay,
so you
okay.
A couple of different SummerSlam commercials that they were filming with a couple of the stars at the time. Daniel Bryan, obviously, the Bellas. You had also Dolph Ziggler involved, and so that was very, very cool. That a cool. I always appreciate when they do these types of theme deals that for SummerSlam and WrestleMania, different things like that.
Yeah.
This past year was all about cars and Detroit and all that. Back in the day, they did the one where Brock Lesnar was fighting the shark.
Yeah, where he F5s the shark. I love that one.
That's one of my favorites. And now we're getting to another commercial break here. See, so I always felt like whatever problems they created between these two just were not realistic at all. Like, it just didn't feel like they were going to be something. Like, it didn't feel like they had any issues, and they tried to present them as we're on another commercial break. I'm on one here for 60 seconds. I don't know how many you have.
I'm only on for 10 seconds for some reason.
10 seconds. Look at you.
Yeah.
Wow, good. Wish I had 10 seconds.
Sweet.
Yeah. Interesting.
Unless I'm going to get another one. Nope, that was it.
And you're all set. So you're back already. All right. So
yeah, I'm holding on. I have frozen on this great shot of a pigeon walking down the street.
You have what's that?
I'm stuck on this great shot of a pigeon walking down the street.
Oh, interesting. I do not have that.
You'll know when you come back. You know it's in store.
Oh, gotcha. All right, I will let you know here. I'm 20 seconds away. But yeah, as they're coming out of this here, Nikki is still getting a ton of flack for breaking the fast. As now I've lost you, Steve. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
All right. I thought I lost you there for a second. All right. So coming out in 2, 1, and go. And we're back. You see some pigeons walking down the street. I did see that pigeon. And now Nikki is so upset at Brie that she's telling her to go away. And she's very unhappy about being made to feel like she's constantly hearing about how she's overweight. But I feel like this has just been this episode. Like, this has not been. Now you're back. It was so weird. You were gone for a second, and now you're back.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I'm completely with Nikki on this one. Like, there's no reason for any of this stuff.
No.
And so, but again, like, and I don't know, like, how, if this is kind of one of those, like, long-term, like, this is a thing that has always been a thing between them or something like that, or if this is just kind of like a recent more development. But it feels like it's kind of a little silly.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And now Nikki is, telling her enough, and Brie, to her credit, is like, all right, sounds good. It's also tough because, Brie is somebody who keeps a different lifestyle. Her and Daniel Bryan are very much vegan at this time. I don't know if they're still vegan. I think Bryan eventually had to give it up because it was affecting him. But they were vegan for a bit. But I think after a while, he did have to give it up. But I think at this time, he's definitely vegan because it becomes a big storyline in WWE that he's vegan.
Huh. Interesting.
And they're doing this photo shoot for the SummerSlam commercial here. And actually, on the poster for SummerSlam, you see them kind of in a roller coaster type deal, because they were tied into it being in LA, and I think it was called the world's biggest thrill ride. That's the WrestleMania in Orlando. But similarly here with this SummerSlam 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really think they look identical, though. I don't think were they identical twins?
I mean, I feel like, I for a little while it was difficult. It was difficult for me to distinguish between the two of them.
Yeah.
So, I feel like now identical. I don't know, but definitely look a hell of a lot alike.
They do. They do. As do Jimmy and Jay. I have a photo with who I thought was Jimmy, who I referred to as Jimmy, and I took a photo with him as Jimmy. But as I look at it, I'm like, I wonder if it was Jay. I still don't know to this day.
I feel like it's one of those things where, like, at first glance, you could probably say I can't tell the difference, but as you see more and more of them, the subtleties kind of come out a little bit more.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then and so it looks like the dynamic in this relationship between TJ and Natty is that they've been together for so long since they were kids. And so now, they've lost a little bit of that pizzazz that a relationship typically would be if, folks have been together a little less. And, now she's starting to kind of, trying to get a little more romance when it's clear that he's, considers them lifelong best friends who are also in a romantic relationship.
I think, this is also kind of like the stress of, planning a wedding.
Oh, that's very true. Good
Yeah.
point. If folks are not on the same page there, it can be very difficult.
Yeah, and so I think that's what, partially what she was saying is that, like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, and this is, this venue that they're looking at is not the right.
Right. Yeah, she's not, and now she's calling off the wedding.
Okay.
But that might happen though. You get a little upset at each other during the thing, and you do it. And now we're about to go to commercial break.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, for us, I don't know if it was just because of how.
I'm at a 30 second. I don't know how long yours is.
I'm at a minute, so I get my.
I'll pause it here for you. When it ends. But what are you saying for you guys?
For us, I don't know if it was just because of who we are as people or if it was just lucky. But, like, the first venue that we went to, we fell in love with, and that was the venue that we eventually booked. Like, all of the catering and stuff, it was, like, the first place that we went to, and we fell in love with it, and that's the one that we went with. So, like, as far as with us, and, I know the venue helped us a lot about, like, their vendors and stuff, but it just felt like the wedding part was like the plan, like that part of the planning part was the easy part. There was the hassle of, like, sending out the invitations and stuff like that, and getting all of, like, the wedding parties coordinated and stuff like that. But I feel like the actual venue and stuff was the easiest part for us.
Yeah, I think for me, are you back?
I am back in 3, 2, 1, and then I'm back.
Sounds good. I know for us, it was, we fell in love with one place. Then we tried to go to a few other ones. And there was, like, an anxiety that was building of, like, hey, we're going to miss the place we like if we keep checking out all these places. So it was like, okay, we better just book the place we actually like.
Yeah. And I love the Bridezilla cop out. And it's like, I don't think this is Bridezilla behavior at all. Like, I think she's wants, like, just because she doesn't want to use that particular venue.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. And now we're backstage here at Raw. I don't know who that is there. That looked like Damian Sandow maybe walking by in that baseball cap.
I have no idea either, but I would also probably do the same exact thing he did, is just, like, look at this crazy woman that's just jumping up and down and walk right by her.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And Sandra is back, the seamstress, and she's asking Sandra to help her get some better outfit.
Okay.
And have it sewed in because, again, they're not legitimately yet.
Yes.
So that makes a certain degree of sense as to why she'll have to do that. Trinity looks very unhappy about this entire idea.
Right.
But for something like this, she would absolutely need to get approval from WWE, because you figure with the merchandising, the action figures, they probably have a say whether or not they want. I don't know if they'd have a say whether or not they could do it, but I'm sure they'd like a heads up.
Yeah, I feel like it, that, but also that's a little bit more noticeable. I don't know if it's noticeable more than, like, somebody dyeing their hair, for example.
Yeah.
But
I know they definitely I think you do need to run it by them if you plan on getting a new tattoo.
Yeah, I could also see that being a thing.
Like I remember somebody once, Aleister Black, who now wrestles for AEW, got a new tattoo, and somebody online was like, "Oh great, now my new Aleister Black figure is already out of date because it doesn't have the tattoos he had." And he wrote back, "No, it just makes it a collector's item."
Yeah, that's what I would say too.
Yeah, you can look at it either way. So Sandra's telling her to go ahead and go get the boobs if that's what she wants to do. And Trinity is saying that seems like Trinity is well against this. I wonder if she's against it simply because she feels like by doing this, it's going to make them have to take a little time off TV. As it does seem like, I think once Total Divas started, I love the sign, John Cena with the smiley face. So you don't see too many signs this day and age. I don't know if you did you see a lot when you went live recently?
We saw not like a whole lot. There were a couple, but I remember like watching an old like 90s Raw recently, and like it was a sea of signs. Like the entire stadium was filled with them.
Absolutely, yeah. Everywhere you looked, it was basically, a ton of different signs.
Yeah.
And now they're all. She's showing off this new outfit with the breasts sewed into the outfit.
Yeah, but I feel like that, that is a common thing for like outfits and stuff like that to have like a little bit of padding. Like that might be a lot, but
yeah, I bet her outfit was probably very similar to this before that she got the breast implants.
Right.
And, oh my God! So I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you have subtitles on there, but when he said "Welcome to Monday Night Raw," it said in the subtitle "Welcome to Monday Nitro."
I didn't see. I do have subtitles on, but I didn't see that.
So it looked like it was Daniel Bryan and Kane in there against the Shield. So you saw a very old school John Moxley in there.
Yep.
Looks like one of the boobs is missing. Looks like somebody removed it and is trying to pull a bit of a rib here on Cameron.
Oh, I guess you can't wear them.
Yeah.
Trinity.
Oh, so she thought Trinity stole the movie.
That was my first guess too, though. So.
What's that?
That was my first guess too, though. So.
It too, yeah. Why is there all the? Oh yeah. So you can tell she's had more than enough of the boob saga. She just wants her partner there.
Yeah, for sure.
Trinity said whether or not she has implants. Has she mentioned that?
What?
Does Trinity mentioned if she has breast implants?
I don't think she has.
I don't think she's mentioned it, right? Not like it matters. I'm just curious if maybe that's why she doesn't want her to get them because she herself doesn't have any.
I mean, yeah, or I would say if it was the opposite where she did have them and regretted them or something, maybe she would be more upfront about that. But yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, she feels like she can't go out there with the boob missing because there's
so take the other one out too. Like there you go. That's your problem. That problem solved.
And it's very much. I really wonder if you go back and watch this Raw, if you could tell that. There,
that she's stuffing a little bit.
Yeah, I'm on 45 seconds here.
I'm on a minute.
All right, perfect. So I'll pause it when I get to the end of mine. Yeah, what if you go back and watch that? I'll have to go back with like a fine-tooth comb and watch that random match with the Funkadactyls against Daniel Bryan and no, I don't think that had anything to do with Bryan. I guess Bryan was ending his segment.
Yeah, I think that was the thing where like that was the last segment before theirs.
Yeah. And if you notice, everyone they usually show from the men's side of things is typically characters that are in the show, too.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So you definitely will see Bryan.
Which means it's usually, either Bryan or John Cena or Jimmy.
Yeah. And I'm getting at the end of mine now, and I'll pause it. I'm at 36:52, so let me know when you catch up there.
Okay. It's coming down. There's like, even though it counts down the seconds, there's always like a couple of actual seconds like for it
to come back.
Yeah, so I'm there at 36:57 for some reason.
All right. Yeah, there you go. All right. So I've caught up here, and it looks like Raw, everyone's starting to still really do the yes chant. At the time, Bryan and very young Seth frickin' Rollins. Oh, but Daniel Bryan has just started to embrace the fans doing the yes chant. For a while, he had dismayed them, turned heel, didn't want people to do the yes. So now now that's why you saw the crowd doing it with him. And yeah, it looks like
he's really she's struggling here.
Yeah, she's having a hard time. And she also looks very, very upset. Look at the tiny phone there. My goodness. Back in 2013 was probably like an iPhone 4 or 5 and was probably like the hot phone at the time.
And then I love them walking by the Bellas. It almost feels like a weird kind of like crossover situation.
It really does. And they're just I do not, until we watch this, I do not remember Tensai and Brodus lasting this long. Summer of 2013, I thought they were a distant memory. And Tensei is so, Brodus kind of can get down, but Tensei just looks totally off there. There's a very young on the outside. That is the group 3MB, made of Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal, and Drew McIntyre.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, who? Oh, I know that name. And okay.
Yeah, exactly. So there's John there. Now, John at the time sporting his "The Champ is Here" shirt. Oh, it was Nikki Bella.
Wow.
Oh, John is the moral police here, as he typically is.
Yeah.
And he's had enough. He was very unhappy that Nikki did it. He's disgusted.
Right. I do like that "The Champ is Here" shirt with the arrow pointing down.
Yeah. Belt on the crotch down there, and.
Yep. Very reminiscent of the Big Show shirt, where it was the Big Show with the arrow pointing down.
I like that. What's funny is like all of his shirts really apply to kids, so there's probably a lot of kids with the going to school with the Champ is Here with the belt below. And oh my God, the team there of Tensei, Brodus, and the Great Khali, random AF. Oh, and now they're coming clean about stealing one of the boobs. Terrible. And it's not a commercial break. It's just their little deal where they show you, and then you get ready for the little clip part.
Yeah.
Looked like somebody was signing some autographs there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very, very heelish by the Bella twins.
Right, and you also kind of have to say, all right, now take a step back. Was that also kind of for the show, maybe? Just, to stir a little bit?
Right, especially because John's just such a great guy that he's like, oh, I got to be honest, that's not nice.
Right.
I don't know about that. He looked like the type of guy that would, go along with it and whatever.
Yeah, I feel like he was not above some backstage ribbing.
Exactly. It's a harmless enough type deal. And you can see in the background there, 3MB after the match walking backstage.
Yeah.
And it looks like that'll end our saga here as to what they're going to be going forward with.
But definitely setting up some interesting storylines coming forward.
Yeah, and it's clear in this. It's interesting. First couple episodes have been mostly about Eva Marie. This episode, she's definitely taken a bit of a back seat and has been kind of more of a background player, as this one's been more about, the Funkadactyls and the Bellas.
Right, but it's good that they kind of rotate every so often, shifting the spotlight on different ones.
Yeah, you're right. So it looks like she's not getting the breast implants after all that. She's decided doesn't want to send the wrong impression to all of her fans out there. I personally don't think either of her fans would have been upset about shame on me, but I can't imagine there were too many, specifically of that act. I can't believe I was even on that they made Raw with that team of Tensei, Brodus Clay, and the Great Khali. Like, I have to go and find this episode of Raw to see if that match was taped before the show, because that is like random.
That was a house show.
Yeah, the most random of random groupings ever in there. And I will report back next week if I find out if during the match you could tell that she had the toilet tissue hanging out Look at Mr. Spruce here. Sprucing up
Yep.
things, making things romantic. Just ignore the big cameras, baby.
Yeah, Mr. Fiance over the year over here.
Yeah, exactly. I do love. They are totally in Florida, though. Are they not with that backyard?
Oh yeah, with that lanai and that pool and that. Oh yeah, 100. That's definitely Tampa.
I remember when I first saw your pool, I was like, "This is amazing," and you were like, "Well, look at everyone else has the same type of deal over there, like in the neighborhood."
Yeah.
Because you have to have that, right?
I mean, you don't have to, but like everybody does, or like most people do.
Right? It's interesting. She's saying I don't mean to be overbearing and just wanted to have all of her friends there. And I think each one of these weddings they do, and there's a lot of them that we do on Total Divas.
Yeah. And I mean, I also love the idea of a beach wedding. We had a beach wedding.
Yeah. Yours was great. Yeah.
And I have to say, something tells me that was their plan all along, but the producers were just go with it, all right?
Yeah, they. I think the one thing they also have to agree on is, hey, we'll go ahead and we'll cover it, but in doing so, we are going to make sure that all of the Total Divas are invited. That was their big deal. So that is the end of the episode. We've come to our exciting conclusion there. What do you think of that one, Steve?
I thought it was very captivating, very interesting storylines that we have going on. That it also seems like we are coming up with some sort of couple of different rifts that we're seeing in some of these teams, and even playing against each other.
Which makes sense. You're on the road with each other all the time, battling it out. You figure that happens quite a bit. It's almost like they always say the road for Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Stephanie used to say Shawn was his road wife because they were always together so much, and they got each other's nerves from time to time. But another good episode here. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and it looks like we're continuing the build down towards SummerSlam 2013, which the Total Divas are a big part of. And because now that the show is now airing, the show starts in like July of 2013. So they start to become more a part of the storylines, which are more integrated with the show here moving forward.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, until next time, everybody, make sure you leave a subscribe and a like, and we will see you next time here on Watchalong Wrestling.